But I did want to discuss the Eagles, man,
Mm-hmm.
because while they are 4-0, much is being made about the offensive struggles.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Brown did make a tweet basically complaining. I didn't see the tweet. I don't know what the tweet said verbatim, but essentially complaining about not getting the ball enough. What do you make of what's going on with them offensively? Do you think there's a problem with play calling? Do you think, because I'll compare and contrast them with like a Ravens team.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Todd Monken is a bad play caller.
Okay.
I'll just say that. You know what I'm saying? Just I make no qualms about that. And I'll tell you what I mean. 2 years ago, 2023, in the AFC Championship game, the Ravens played the Chiefs. The Ravens in 2023 had the number one rush offense in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they had 7 or 8 rush attempts in the first half. They had 16 rush attempts for the game, 37 pass attempts. You had the number one rush offense, and you came in and decided you was going to pass. And the game was 17-10. If you're wondering maybe it was a shootout. No, it was a 17. They lost 17-10
Right.
to Kansas City. So it wasn't a shootout. And they averaged 5 yards a carry, by the way. So they had success on the ground. They just didn't run it enough. This past weekend, Derrick Henry carried the ball 8 times and was invisible for long portions of the game. And I think Todd Monken is a bad play caller. So when they have a bad defense, it's going to be exasperated by the fact that he's a bad play caller. He won't run the ball, keep the defense on the sideline, have long sustained drives. For example, the Lions, we know that we had 13 defensive players on injured reserve last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had guys off the street playing. We went 15-2, lost 2 games by a combined 10 points. Why? Because we played complementary football. We ran the ball. We have 2 of the best running backs in football. So we ran the ball, and we kept our defense on the sideline a lot. And we had long, sustained drives. Yeah. And what is Dan Campbell known for doing? Going for it on 4th down. So we have even longer, sustained drives. Yeah. That's complementary football. That's keeping a hurt defense on the sideline. Todd Monken won't do that. So when the Ravens have a bad defense, it's exasperated by the fact that he's a bad play caller. I'm going to flip that back to Philly, because we talking about Philly. We ain't talking about the Ravens. Do you think that Philly has the same issue of bad play calling, or do you think that there are other issues that exist there? Because much is being made about the play calling.
Yeah, that's tough. Because
what do you make of the AJ Brown thing?
Oh, I think he dropped a Bible verse or something, yeah. and I seen him saying that it wasn't directed towards anybody. He was just venting. I think the main thing that glares to me is that the Eagles, they have a lot of highly skilled players, and they're playing a conservative offense.
Mm-hmm. You think he's justified in being frustrated?
Yeah, I mean, he's a star. He's AJ Brown.
Okay.
I mean, he's AJ Brown. But I mean, I think it's okay to express your frustrations as long as you're not being a jerk about it, and if you're not being passive aggressive about it. I hate the passive aggressive stuff. Like, that's weak to me.
Case in point, Cam Ward.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll get to Cam Ward.
Like that's my thing with the Eagles, because the thing about it is it's kind of working. I mean, outside of the personnel being unhappy with the sexy numbers, mm-hmm. I mean, you look at their offense, I mean, they're efficient as hell. I mean,
they 4-0.
I mean, and they're 4 pretty quality wins. I mean, they didn't beat the Rams, they didn't beat Tampa Bay, they beat the Chiefs.
Yep.
I mean, the Cowboys are the Cowboys, but I mean, those are 4 quality wins. And the offense has been much more impressive than the defense. I mean, the defense is giving up over 330 yards a game.
Yeah.
They're kind of in like a bend but don't break kind of model right now, where they're giving up a lot of yards, but they're getting opportunistic stops in the red zone. So, you know, they're giving 3 instead of 6. But, you know, teams are getting at those 3 points the long way with the defense, where I thought that the defense would be the staple. But that said, as the season goes on, as the weather gets colder, I believe that defense will get better.
Yeah.
Offensively, and it was something I was thinking about because I knew we were going to talk about the Eagles. I go back to a lot of the days of when the Patriots were ripping off those championships early.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody kind of ate, B.
Right.
You know, until they got Randy. And when they got Randy, they lost when it mattered the most.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
like you may, you know, AJ, you may have to be more Deion Branch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you may, I don't think Devonta has a problem being a Wes Welker, because and I was thinking about this as it goes back to Jalen. They go as he goes.
Yeah.
And Jalen does what the game requires and what the situation requires. And I think as his career goes on, as he can hopefully stay injury free,
mm-hmm.
he'll be that drop back passer that everybody was forcing him to be. Because he would have been and seen every defense by that point. You know, he'll know all of the ball placement points and by that time, and he's winning en route to doing it.
Yeah.
So it's tricky with the Eagles with me, because a lot of those numbers, they're netting results. I mean, you know, they've got 3 division wins. You know, they're 4-0. They're beating quality teams, and again, I think it just may be to me, it may be a mentality thing more so than a product, because the offense changed when you get a Saquon, as it should. Yeah. And again, it worked. You just hoisted a Super Bowl trophy.
Yeah. So here's my thing, because I don't disagree with much of what you said. I got into an interesting exchange with a guy who I believe he probably was an Eagles fan, but he said that A.J. Brown is a top 3 receiver in the league. And I said, based upon what? And he really didn't have a good answer. He started giving me all these whataboutisms. See, my approach is different. A.J. Brown just ain't like that no more.
Oh, okay. Shots fired.
And this is an approach that I haven't heard anybody take. But
I ain't mad at it. That's how you feel.
Here's the thing, though. The Eagles are getting a bunch of 8-man fronts now. Mm-hmm. Saquon's numbers are way down from last year.
They got the tape.
A.J. Brown is getting a bunch of man coverage this year. And he was targeted 9 times on Sunday. He had 2 catches for 7 yards. Why? And people like, well, I mean, he wasn't open. And my question was, well, why? Who? Because of Jermel Dean? Why is he not French frying Jermel Dean and being wide open all game?
If he's a top 3 receiver.
Exactly. Put Jermel Dean on Amon-Ra St. Brown on an island all day. Amon-Ra St. Brown going to have 14 catches. Jared Goff going to look over there like, oh, it's time to eat.
Right.
Put Jermel Dean on Jamar Chase, even with Jake Doo-Doo Browning at quarterback. Put him on an island by himself. Even now, they double teaming Jamar Chase.
And Jake Browning will throw for 340.
Yeah, and he going to target him 14 times, and Jamar Chase going to have 12 catches. Last year, A.J. Brown was targeted 97 times for 67 catches and almost 1,100 yards. This year, he on pace to be targeted 119 times, but he's only on pace for 60 catches. He's being targeted more this year, and he's catching the ball less. Over the last 9 games, A.J. Brown is averaging 3 catches for 38 yards, and he's being targeted a lot. He just ain't separating no more. Mm-hmm. He's covered. And him complaining, it reminds me a lot of when Stephon Diggs, his last year in Buffalo. Remember all that complaining he was doing about not getting the ball? Left Buffalo and ain't been a number one receiver since.
Quit your blood clot crying.
He went to Houston and was not the number 2 receiver. He was the number 3 before he hurt his knee. And I'm not trying to knock on Steph Diggs. I'm not saying he's not a good receiver, but sometimes you slow down.
Yeah.
And you ain't what you were. And then you looking at the quarterback like, hey, how come you not throwing it to me? Well, I don't see your numbers no more, bro. I used to see your numbers a whole lot more. Because the same Jalen Hurts that you complaining about this year threw it to you for 1,500 yards in 2023.
Yeah.
He was throwing it to you. He didn't forget how to throw the ball.
And he's got like a 1015 QB rating
This
right
is what
now.
I'm saying.
Like, stop
I'm like,
the madness.
He didn't forget how to throw the football. So something changed. And they giving 8-man looks to Saquon. So don't tell me that they giving you exotic coverages. They giving you man coverage on an island. How come you not open? Wide open. You should be wide open if they giving you man coverage on. I don't care who the corners are. And it ain't like you done been playing up against Sauce Gardner and Jalen Ramsey all year. You played the Rams. The Rams could deliver my DoorDash right through this door right now, and I wouldn't know who he was. They number 1 corner. I wouldn't know who he was. You supposed to be baking him. And in fairness, that was your best game. You had 6 catches in that game. But sometimes these receivers ain't like that no more, and they the last ones to know.
Man, you going there week 4?
No, this been happening.
So you saying
this
AJ,
goes back to last year.
You said it's a steady decline.
It's a decline, and these receivers be the last ones to know. And the problem is that they still complaining like they the same receiver they were in 2023, when the only thing that's changed is you, my G. Yeah. The only thing that's different is you.
When you think about it, though, last year A.J. Brown did have a peak and valley type season. He would have huge weeks, then he'll take a few weeks off.
He started high, and then he floated down.
Well, I mean, he went through like maybe a 6-game funk, wasn't it, in the middle of the season last year?
And think about it. Last year, when Saquon went on that roll, teams started gearing up to stop him. That's when the numbers should have went crazy.
Yeah.
Because when teams gear up to stop the Lions from running, Amon-Ra St. Brown goes berserk.
He goes nuts. Laporta goes nuts.
And then
we get a little Brock Wright out there.
And then safeties have to get back out of the box.
Yeah.
That's the formula. When safeties start coming down, it's Amon-Ra time.
Yep.
It's J-Mo time. Well, they start hitting you. We start hitting teams over the top. And then what happens? Safeties get out of the box and we start running again.
Yeah. And once we see the front of everybody on the defense's jersey numbers, it's a wrap.
But everybody's down in the box. Tampa is notorious for loading the box and stopping the run. That's what they do. That's the Todd Bowles model.
Todd Bowles mantra.
So my thing is, how you get targeted 9 times and you get 2 catches for 7 yards? And then you looking at the quarterback like, what's the problem? You got targeted 9 times, bro. How come you ain't wide open? How come he don't look up and see number 11 and see a big 11 in his face? Wide open over the middle of the field. That should be pitch and catch. Why are you covered? That's the question. And and I've heard nobody in the national media suggest that maybe A.J. Brown slowing down a step. And I'm telling you that these receivers are the last ones to know.
I mean, you read it, Miss Wright's like he was done.
And I'm
not, like AJ, but like damn, like you talking like AJ Brown is finished.
I'm not saying that he is no good anymore. All I'm suggesting is that he might not be the same receiver he was 2 years ago. Because remember, the same thing happened with Stephon Diggs. Remember his last year? Remember when Trayvon Diggs came out like Josh Allen need to get my brother the ball?
I do, yeah.
Because that was the year
they
he
stopped
hurt
playing
himself.
Madden together in the whole 9.
And And we do know now that it wasn't Josh Allen, right?
Oh, no, clearly.
We discovered that it wasn't Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Because he throwing the ball to Shakir and he done threw the ball to Mac Hollins and all kinds of different ragtag receivers.
And everybody else. Well, he's making Keon Coleman a star.
This is what
I'm
saying.
They're collaborating on.
This is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that Steph Diggs wasn't good in Buffalo. What I'm saying is that these receivers slowed down a step because Steph Diggs the very next year went to Houston and was the number 3 receiver behind Nico Collins and Tank Dell.
That's true.
They the last ones to know, and they screaming at the quarterback and the OC and everybody else.
He went from being number 1 in Buffalo to Tank Dell's big bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like they screaming at everybody, but they doing everything but looking in the mirror. Like maybe I done slowed down a step, man. Maybe I ain't open as I used to be. And I understand that it could be a philosophical thing in Philly, and like you said, they playing situational football. They 4-0. They winning. They the defending Super Bowl champs. They doing what they need to do when they need to do it. But I'm telling you, you heard it here first. And watch. In 2 months, you're going to hear all of the national pundits like, I don't know, well, maybe A.J. Brown slowing down some.
Talking about the numbers just going to be trash.
Yeah, right. Maybe he just ain't what he once was, because I'm telling you, he's on pace to be targeted more than he was last year, but he's also on pace for fewer catches. And that does not happen if you the same guy you was 2 years ago.
No, that's the definition of falling off.
Exactly. That's when you falling off. And he might just be falling off. And everybody loses a step. Everybody got to recalibrate. That doesn't mean that that don't mean he trashed. That don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trashing A.J. Brown. I'm just suggesting that all of the innuendo, all of the, you know, the little sneak dissing and it's the OC, because I done heard national media, and I'm not necessarily saying that it's all A.J. Brown. I'm listening to national media people. I'm listening to all these other people blaming everybody but A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
They saying everything but hell. Maybe A.J. Brown just ain't got it no more. Maybe he ain't moving like he once was. I'm suggesting that. I'm looking at a lot of one-on-one coverage when I see the Eagles, and A.J. Brown is covered. So I digress, man, because we got a lot more stuff that we need to move on to.